Okay, so that brings us to exercise 4, where we need to count the number of words and letters in some data. We need to implement a function called count words to count the number of words in a string. Okay, so let's copy this example and just start with that, and then look at the other problems later. So I just quit the Python terminal, and then I guess it's here. Word count? No. What's it called? Counting. Yeah, okay, so that's a couple of exercises in this one. So in the first one we just do word count for a string. Okay, so I guess we solve it as usual. I think that I prefer that. So we insert a blank return statement and a breakpoint, and then we can start solving it in the debugger. Wait, what's happening now? I called the wrong function for some reason. I wonder why that happened. Not completely sure about that. That's because of this import statement. So this import statement, when I run the file, it starts this import statement, and that imports this file over here. When I import the file, it starts executing these lines. I don't really want to do that, so I'll just comment them out. In general, it's a bad idea actually to have these dangling examples where you call code in your files, because it can create this kind of confusion. I'm just allowing myself to do that because I want to include examples as I do here. Anyway, with that little preamble out of the way, we can see what the string is, and now we can try to solve the problem. So if I call the split function, then what the split function will do is that it takes a single input argument and it splits the string wherever it sees that input argument. So in this case it will split it at line spaces. So now it looks like this, and I think that's actually the default behavior. Yeah, it is. I could also try something else, like split it at I, and now it will look like this. So it's something where you can get a little bit creative. You could also split it at in. Now it looks like this. But we just split at spaces, and that'll get us a list of all the words. Then we can just get the amount of words by doing length like this, and that'll give you a solution to the problem. So this is the reason why I like to use the debugger. I can do experiments like this. So we can just say that count is equal to this stuff. Okay, that took care of that. Now we need to count the letters in a string. Is there some examples? This is the same example. So I can just substitute count words for count letters, and that will give us another example. So let's define a variable called letters. Maybe not start. Maybe just do it like this. Insert a breakpoint, and then we start it in the debugger and see how we can define that variable. So this should be the number of letters in a string without spaces. So, I think the simplest way of doing it would be to take this string, remove all the spaces, and then just see how long it is. So I can do that by replacing each element of a space with an empty string. So that removes all the spaces, and then I can just check the length of this string, and that's 61. So I guess that's how we can do that. There are some potentially funny questions we can ask here, like how should we handle new lines? I mean, because this is only replacing spaces and not new lines with empty strings. But I think we'll store those questions for the test and see if we encounter a problem and then think about it. So the last one is count words, letters. It should take a file as input, read the content, return the number of words and letters as a tuple. Okay, that sounds like something we can potentially do. So count words, letters. Do we have an example of how to call it? Yeah, we have a Hamlet here. So let's do that. So we have Hamlet. Guess we actually have Hamlet somewhere. Let's see. Hamlet. Wow. Here's Hamlet. Yeah, there are new lines in Hamlet. Maybe we need to deal with that problem. Let's see. It'll be exciting. So let's print out words and letters just so we can see what it does and try to decide if we made a mistake. So where do we have Hamlet? Count words, letters. So we just need to return words and letters. Okay. So I insert breakpoint, start the debugger. Because now basically I need to open the file. So I open this path in read mode as a file, and I read it, and I assign that to a variable s. And this, if I run this code, so I select it, and then I press Control Alt D, or I can just copy paste it here, and that runs the code, and now S should be handled like this. And then what we need to do is that we can use the two functions that we wrote to solve the task. So I can say words is count words of S, and letters is count letters of S. And now I select these two lines and I run them using this shortcut, and then we can just check what words is and what letters is. Because the exciting part will be if these agree with what is in the assignment. So this should be 645, that is okay. And this one, see, mine is too big. And that is I bet that is because of the new line issue. So how can I get around that? Well, I can replace each new line with a space. Because now when I replace them with a space, count letters will replace the space with nothing and just count the letters. So let's try that and see what happens when I run this. 362, and that is correct. So this is actually something I should do here. And maybe I should actually, instead of doing it here, I should implement it in count letters. That might be a little better. So if I want to do that, I could do it like this. String is equal to string dot replace. I'm not sure, but I think I prefer this solution. Okay, so let's remove the example and see how the test. Where are we? What does the test say about this? Counting? Yeah. So that was the right approach. Good. So that was exercise 8.4.